What a strange film. The story follows Billy Batson, a 14-year-old kid who's been bouncing from foster home to foster home his whole life and is still searching for his biological parents. He's proven quite the handful, using his knowledge of the city to constantly escape authority and break into places just to look around. Even when finally taken to see a psychologist about his behavior, Billy manages to escape, which brings him to his newest foster home with Victor and Rosalind Vasquez, who themselves are brother and sister and were taken in by their aunt after their parents died. It's also here where Billy meets Freddie Freeman, his younger foster brother who was born without legs. And after some initial trouble settling in, including Billy causing a blackout, he warms up to the idea of becoming part of a real family. But it doesn't last long. Billy soon ventures back into town on his own and stumbles across a construction site where a powerful wizard named Shazam is fighting against monstrous creatures known as the 7 Deadly Sins. As they battle, one of the sins, the evilest of them all, attempts to flee and turns its attention to Billy, who the wizard chooses as his new champion to stop it. He calls out to Billy, giving him the power to change into an adult superhero by simply saying his name. And though Billy initially tries to refuse this calling, he takes it upon himself to help out the wizard and becomes the hero we know as Shazam. So now we have a 14-year-old kid who can transform into a muscular grown man with the power of the gods. Billy is over the moon. And while he and his foster brother Freddie explore these abilities, Billy shows us how awesome it would be to be a teenager with superpowers. They fight off monsters and bad guys together, and Billy even gets a ride on the school bus. Wait, it gets better. In a fun, lighthearted way, we also learn what these powers actually do for us and what they mean for Billy. We learn that Shazam is an acronym. So whenever Billy says Shazam, he'll get whatever benefit the letter stands for. S is for stamina, H is for heart, A is for agility, Z is for Zeus, A is for Atlas, and M is for Mercury. And so with every letter, we get a boost of power or knowledge. Also, we find out that Shazam isn't a word, but rather an acronym that Billy has created himself. What's cool about this is that there's no costume required. The magic of Shazam is completely dependent on Billy and his belief in himself. He becomes whoever he wants to be. That's why when he first transforms, he finds himself wearing the exact clothes he had on before, but larger. Later on, he realizes he can choose what he looks like and decides on a classic superhero outfit. But there's a twist. After finishing his battle with the Sins, the wizard reveals to Billy that not only did the Sins want to possess him, but they once did and were sealed inside him by the wizard. This means that as long as Billy keeps the Sins at bay and under control, they won't be able to hurt anyone else. But when they do break free, they bring out the worst parts of Billy, making him feel dark inside. It seems that the only thing that can stop the Sins from harming Billy or others is something called the Rock of Eternity. Unfortunately, the wizard was supposed to guard this rock, but Billy being too overwhelmed with his new powers, he took it from the wizard and threw it away unknowingly. Now the Sins begin to grow stronger, and Billy knows he has to do something. But when he tries to retrace his steps and find the rock, he comes across someone else who's also looking for it. Dr. Thaddeus Savannah, a former child genius who wanted to become the wizard's apprentice. But when he was rejected, he sold his soul to the Sins and became their host. Realizing that Billy has the power to defeat the Sins, Savannah sets out to steal it for himself. And so Billy must face up to his responsibilities and learn the power of a special magic with his true family that Savannah can never understand. Okay, so what did I just watch? Well, this movie had me questioning everything I thought I knew about DC superheroes. For starters, it gave me serious Shaggy vibes from Scooby-Doo, only here with superpowers. So when Billy first transformed, I was confused. What had happened to him? Why was he suddenly older and buff? And then it hit me. He didn't age. He just changed into an adult. I was like, wait, what? So is Shazam an acronym? Like, does it stand for something? And then boom, Shazam. The acronym was explained to us, and then it got cooler because it's not like he put on a costume to become a superhero. Like, he just stood there and said the word Shazam, and then poof, bam, he had superpowers. This was the coolest thing in the movie. It's different. It's unique, and it's just so fun. The action scenes were really intense and well shot too. I loved how they used CGI and practical effects together to create these fantastical fights. There were so many cool moments. The bus fight was epic, and the scene where Billy battles the sins inside his mind was trippy and exciting. It's cool how they show us Billy having these adventures and going around fighting crime, but we never actually see him in his secret identity. It's kind of like he's just a regular guy who sometimes goes on these crazy escapades. It's also cool how they show us Billy having these adventures and going around fighting crime, but we never actually see him in his secret identity. It's kind of like he's just a regular guy who sometimes goes on these crazy escapades. I thought that was pretty clever, and then there's the music. The soundtrack is great, and it perfectly captures the tone of each scene. When Billy is exploring his powers, the music is upbeat and adventurous. When he's fighting the sins, it's epic and intense. When he's feeling down, it's sad and melancholic. The music really helps us connect with Billy and understand what he's going through. Now, let's talk about the plot. I found it to be pretty predictable at times. Like, we all knew Billy was gonna end up using his powers for good, right? And the whole Savannah arc felt a bit rushed. Like, I would have liked to see more of his backstory and motivations. I think the movie could have benefited from exploring his relationship with the sins a bit more. I feel like we could have gotten a deeper look into Billy S.'s inner turmoil as he grappled with the darkness within him. Like, I get that the movie's about him discovering who he is and all that jazz, but I feel like they could have delved a bit deeper into his character. I also thought the ending was a bit too neat and tidy, like everything just wrapped up a little too easily. I would have liked to see a bit more conflict and resolution, but hey, it's a superhero movie. Not everything has to be super deep, you know? I also thought the movie could have benefited from exploring Savannah's character a bit more. Like, why did he turn to the dark side? What made him so angry and bitter? I feel like if they had explored his backstory a bit more, we could have sympathized with him a bit more. But I get that the movie's not about him. It's about Billy and all that. Overall, though, I enjoyed the movie. It was fun and entertaining, and it had some great performances and visuals. I also appreciated the movie's exploration of family and what it means to be a hero. I thought it was a nice change of pace from the typical superhero movie. If you're looking for a fun superhero flick that's a bit different, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Just don't expect a deep character study or anything. You know, it's a fun movie. Just go with the flow.